Welcome, everyone. Grab your notebooks and get comfortable because today we're opening up the Ultimate Writer's Toolbox. In this comprehensive explainer, we are going to master 13 absolutely essential figures of speech. Whether you're looking to seriously elevate your own creative writing or you just want to completely ace those upcoming exam questions, you are exactly in the right place. I'm going to guide you through these concepts step by step so you can understand not just what they are, but exactly how and why writers use them.
So let's kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. Why won't a plain statement work? I mean, we use language to communicate facts, sure, but a figure of speech actually departs from literal meaning to create a much stronger, more vivid effect. Writers reach for these specific devices when a plain, direct sentence just won't carry enough weight. Sometimes you literally need a comparison, a massive exaggeration, or even the actual acoustic sound of the words to do the heavy lifting for you.
Here is our agenda for today. 1. Comparisons that bring color. 2. Extremes and understatements. 3. Swapping and twisting meaning. 4. Sound and voice. And 5. The final review.
All right, part 1, comparisons that bring color.
Our first two tools are the simile and the metaphor. Now, a simile compares two completely unlike things using the word like or as. The comparison is stated completely openly. A metaphor, on the flip side, also compares two unlike things, but it does so directly, without using like or as. It describes one thing as though it actually were the other thing. What's really fascinating here is that the difference isn't just grammatical. A metaphor asks the reader to accept the comparison as a total fact for the length of the sentence, which usually makes a metaphor feel so much stronger than a simile that's saying the exact same thing.
Let's hear exactly how these sound in action. First up, the simile. Her smile was as bright as the morning sun, or he fought like a lion in the ring. We hear the as and the like right there. Super clear. But for metaphor, time is money, or her voice was music to his ears. Notice how we don't say time is like money. We state it as an absolute reality, and that is the true power of a metaphor.
Moving on to our third colorful comparison tool, personification. You'll definitely want to jot this definition down in your notes. Personification is giving human qualities, actions, or feelings to something that is not human. This could be an everyday object, an animal, or even a completely abstract idea.
Let's look at a couple of examples. The wind whispered through the trees, and the old house groaned under the weight of the storm. Now, obviously, wind doesn't actually have vocal cords to whisper, and timber doesn't have a human voice to groan, but by applying these vividly human actions to nature and architecture, the whole scene just instantly comes alive in your mind.
Section 2, extremes and understatements.
Okay, here we have two brilliant opposites side by side. First is hyperbole. This is deliberate exaggeration used for emphasis, and it is absolutely not meant to be taken literally. Then, its opposite is litos. Litos is an understatement created by denying the opposite of what is actually meant. It softens a statement while still making the point perfectly clear. So think of it this way. Hyperbole blasts the scale all the way up, while litos pulls it back down and actually makes the reader do a little bit of interpretive work.
Let's read these together. For hyperbole, I have told you 1,000,000 times to clean your room. You can almost hear the exasperated parental sigh on that one, right? It is physically impossible to tell someone something 1,000,000 times, but it completely emphasizes that frustration. Now for litotes, the exam was not easy, which really just means the exam was hard. Or, she is not unkind to strangers. This means she actually treats strangers quite kindly. See how litotes makes your brain do just a tiny fraction of a second of translation? That little puzzle is what makes it so engaging to read.
Part 3, swapping and twisting meaning.
First up in this section is a big one, irony. Irony occurs when the actual meaning or outcome of something is the exact opposite of what is expected or stated. It relies heavily on the stark contrast between what should logically happen and what actually does happen.
These examples perfectly illustrate true irony. A fire station burned down. The very place built to extinguish fires is consumed by one. Or, the traffic warden's car was towed away for illegal parking. The exact person who enforces parking laws gets punished for breaking them. The universe completely twisting our expectations. That is irony.
Next up, we have a classic confusing pair that you will definitely want to highlight in your exam notes, metonymy versus synecdoche. Metonymy replaces the name of something with the name of something else that's closely associated with it. Synecdoche is very closely related, but the crucial point here is that it uses a literal, physical part of something to represent the whole, or occasionally the whole to represent a part.
Writers do often use these loosely, but knowing the fine distinction, associated idea versus actual physical part, will absolutely put you ahead of the curve.
Let's clarify this with the examples. Metonymy. The Crown announced new laws. The Crown stands for the monarchy. Downing Street issued a statement. Downing Street stands for the Prime Minister's office. They are closely associated symbols. Now, synecdoche. All hands on deck. Hands stand for the sailors themselves. She bought a new set of wheels. Wheels stand for the entire car. Hands and wheels are literal, physical components of the sailors and the car. And that is synecdoche.
Moving right along to the oxymoron. An oxymoron places two contradictory terms right next to each other to create a single, often striking effect. Just listen to these examples. The silence was deafening. Or, it was an open secret in the office. Mashing open and secret together seems like a total paradox, right? But it perfectly creates a surprisingly logical new concept, a secret that everyone actually already knows.
Next is euphemism. A euphemism replaces a harsh, blunt, or uncomfortable term with a milder or gentler one. For example, he passed away last night, or she was let go from her position. Passed away softens the word died, and let go softens fired or dismissed. Euphemisms are incredibly common in formal announcements to just kind of soften the blow of harsh realities.
And brilliantly rounding out this section is apostrophe. And no, please take note of this. I am not talking about the punctuation mark. In figures of speech, apostrophe means addressing someone absent, someone dead, or something non-human as though it could actually hear and respond. For example, "Oh death, where is your sting?" Or, "Oh freedom, how long we have waited for you." You are directly and passionately speaking to a concept.
Section 4. Sound and voice. We have two incredibly fun tools here, onomatopoeia and alliteration. Onomatopoeia is the use of a word that physically imitates the sound it describes. Alliteration, on the other hand, is a rhythmic pattern. It's the repetition of the exact same consonant sound at the beginning of several words placed close together.
You really have to hear them out loud to truly grasp their effect. For onomatopoeia, the bees buzzed around the flowers. The bacon sizzled in the pan. The words literally sound like the action that's happening. For alliteration, Peter picked a peck of pickled peppers, and the wild wind whipped through the valley. The repeating P and W sounds give the sentence this undeniable rhythmic momentum.
And finally, Section 5, the final review.
Let's quickly recap what we've learned. We explored 13 devices broken into 4 main categories today. For comparisons, we looked at simile, metaphor, and personification. For extremes, we scaled things with hyperbole and litotes. For meaning twists, we navigated irony, metonymy, synecdoche, oxymoron, euphemism, and apostrophe. And finally, for sounds, we brought the noise with onomatopoeia and alliteration. Having this organized framework gives you everything you need to confidently identify these on a test or purposefully weave them into your own essays.
So, you now have 13 incredibly powerful figures of speech right in your arsenal. Plain statements definitely have their place, for sure, but knowing how to bring color, sound, and surprise to your words is what turns an okay writer into a truly great one. So my question to you is, which tool are you going to reach for to upgrade your very next sentence? Keep practicing, keep studying those notes, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.